fact, the plane kept maneuvering beyond the island, indicating the pilot was still alive. So another idea, maybe the jet landed on some remote island in the Indian Ocean. This one right here, Diego Garcia, for some reason, been getting a lot of attention online. It is tiny, it is remote, and there is an airport there, but there's also an American Navy facility. Okay, so what if the plane landed on some other remote island, maybe a beach or possibly a desert in Central Asia?
The agonizing wait for information on the fate of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 is taking a real toll on the families of the missing passengers and crew. This as the FBI gets more involved in trying to figure out what happened to the missing plane. Lisa Stark has the latest on the search and the investigation.
Anguish and agony from family members of those on board the missing jetliner who want answers. Some, like this woman who traveled from China to a press briefing in Malaysia, had to be dragged out. Investigators insist they are doing everything in their power to locate Flight 370. They continue to examine the flight simulator taken from the pilot's home. Today they revealed it is missing some files.
Local and international expertise have been recruited to examine the pilot's flight simulator. Some data has been deleted from the simulator, and forensic work to retrieve this data is ongoing.
The files were deleted back in early February. It may mean nothing, but the FBI has now reportedly been asked to take a look.
But we are in ongoing conversations about how we can help, and we will make available whatever resources that we have, whatever expertise we have that we might be able to be used.
Friends of Captain Zahari Ahmed Shah continue to defend the veteran pilot and his homemade simulator.
When I've asked him before why he's built the simulator in his home, it's because that is his hobby. He enjoys flying and he wants to share the joy of flying with his friends, and having a simulator at home is just a perfect way to do it.
Co-pilot Farik Abdul Hamid is also under the microscope, as are flight attendants and ground crew, and investigators are still awaiting word on some of the passengers about any possible links to terrorism.
We have received passengers' background checks from all countries apart from Ukraine and Russia, both of which had nationals on board. So far, no information of significance on any passengers has been found.
Military planes from a host of countries, including the United States, continue to search for the missing jumbo jet in a path from Thailand to Uzbekistan to the north and from Indonesia to the Indian Ocean southwest of Australia. Now that search area near Australia has been cut in half based on an analysis from the NTSB.
The area at the end of those analyses has been refined by work done by the National Transportation Safety Board on the fuel reserves of the aircraft and how far it could have flown. And you will see that it's also moved a little way east, so it's not as far from Perth as it was for yesterday's search.
Even so, Australian officials leading that southern search say it will take weeks to cover just that one area to look for anything from the missing flight. Lisa Stark, Al Jazeera, Washington.
You know, there are a number of theories about what may have happened to Flight 370. Jonathan Best joins us now to break down just a few of them for us. Jonathan.
Yeah, Tony, everybody's got a theory about this
got
missing Malaysian airliner. Well, one idea that is getting traction this week is the thought perhaps this, after all, maybe was a big accident. The theory is a fire broke out in the plane. The pilot immediately turns left to a nearby airport. Perhaps he was heading here to the island of Pulau Langkawi. It's a fire that knocks out the transponders, but before he can land on the island, he's overcome with smoke. The plane keeps flying and then eventually crashes somewhere in the Indian Ocean. Other pilots, though, say this is very unlikely and ignores other facts, like the fact the plane kept maneuvering beyond the island, indicating the pilot was still alive. So another idea, maybe the jet landed on some remote island in the Indian Ocean. This one right here, Diego Garcia, for some reason, been getting a lot of attention online. It is tiny, it is remote, and there is an airport there, but there's also an American Navy facility. Okay, so what if the plane landed on some other remote island, maybe a beach or possibly a desert in Central Asia? It's possible, but extremely difficult, because surely someone would have noticed, or at least some radar would have picked up the jumbo jet. And keep in mind, the skies over Pakistan, Afghanistan, India are very closely watched. So another theory, maybe the plane was stolen by terrorists in cahoots with the country, or maybe just the country's radar operators. Israel is actually reportedly worried about that case. But that's a lot of what ifs. A plane would have to sneak past other countries. Once on the ground, it had been hidden very quickly. It would require a lot of people working together. It's very complex, very far-fetched, but Tony, this case is so puzzling. It seems investigators are not ruling out anything at this point.
I guess you can't rule out anything, but some of it seems so far-fetched.
It sounds so crazy, but we don't know what happened to this plane. That's what makes
in the absence of real information.
Exactly.
Okay. Jonathan, thank you. Jonathan Betts for us. Coming up on Al Jazeera America.